Hey, welcome to another sneaker video. This time we're looking at yet another classic. It is the Nike Recognition High, a basketball shoe from 1984. And yes, this shoe is actually from 1984. As you can see here, we have 84 for the year, 08 for the month, and 10 for the day of the month. So August 10th, 1984. I was about 2 years old. I got these on eBay, and I think it's a steal. Got them for what, 55 bucks shipped. And they came with the original box, original tissue paper, original laces, and they came in amazing condition for being 30 years old. As you can see, we got some minor glue stains here, a few stains on the laces, and one here on the tongue. What I did when I got them is I applied some leather conditioner to the upper just to protect the leather and give it a nice shine. I think you can see the shine there a little bit. I have pictures, so hopefully you can see it in the pictures. I also washed the laces with soap and water and used a bit of Resolve on the tongue. Not all the stains came out, but I was, and I am, still fairly happy with their condition. As for the shoe itself, it's very simple, as you can see. You've got an all-white leather upper, and this gray, I think it's natural gray swoosh. And as you can see and hear, it's kind of got a rougher texture. And it goes, of course, all the way up to the back, down around the other side, and you only have 2 perforations on each side of the shoe, so these shoes do not breathe very well. The tongue from top to bottom is nylon, and of course you've got this Nike tag here with Nike in black. Turning it around, of course you have Nike printed onto the leather right above this very small heel pull tab. As for the bottom, you have that traditional herringbone design with Nike there. You might say that the Recognition looks a lot like the Nike Blazer, which came out in the early 70s, and you would be correct. And that's because sneaker design didn't change a whole lot during that time. As you can see here, the designs are very similar. This is a 2014 pair of Blazers, but it's called the Blazer Vintage because they tried to make it look like a vintage pair of Blazers. So there are some minor differences, but overall they are very much the same shoe. I know some of the early Blazers had a strip of leather here on the toe. The Recognition also looks a lot like the Nike Penetrator, which is another high-top basketball shoe from that time. My first pair of sneakers, or one of my first pair of sneakers, the first pair that I remember from kindergarten, also looked very similar to this. They were high top, like white leather high tops. I think they had a blue logo of some sort, but I forget what brand they were. They weren't Nike. Anyway, they also look very similar to the Nike Wimbledon, which was a low-cut tennis shoe from the early to mid 80s. And they also look like the Reebok NPC from the early 80s, or the Adidas Stan Smith, Adidas Campus, Puma Suede, Puma Basket, all of their shoes. The technology here was pretty minimal, even compared to something like the Air Force One, which came out in 82 or so. The Air Force had a little more to it, a little more in it, but this is just the way that things were back then. And technology really didn't explode, or design didn't really explode too much until the late 80s, early 90s. And within 10 years of this shoe, so by 1994, Nikes were a lot lighter. They had Some of them had sock liners, some of them had pumps, some of them were really tall. Of course, you had the visible air units in many shoes. You had crazy colors, but be that as it may, I really like these shoes still. They're really nice shoes. In terms of wearability, I would say, as I always say, for vintage shoes, go a half size up. These are not the most comfortable shoes in the world. I think you'll find when you first put them on, they're on the stiff side, especially the collar. And there's not a lot of cushioning here, and if leather kind of rubs your skin the wrong way, you might want to consider wearing high socks. And also, I would say thick socks because of the whole cushioning or lack thereof. As I said before, you only get 2 perforations on each side, so you're not going to get a very breathable shoe, so be warned. I wouldn't play basketball or any other sports or do anything really physical in these. I think they could hold up to it, definitely, because they're sturdy shoes, but it would just be a matter of comfort. If you're interested in a pair of recognitions or penetrators or something along those lines, check out eBay. I see recognitions and penetrators every now and then. The conditions really vary. For the most part, you'll get glue stains. You might get some creasing. You might get some peeling paint or stains and stuff like that, but for the most part, I think the shoes are still wearable. As for price, I would say I lucked out with this one for 50 bucks, but you might be looking at $100 for a brand new pair. I know some people are looking for a lot more than that, but I don't think sellers typically get more than 100 bucks for a pair of recognitions. There might be models that are a little more rare that you might pay a little more for, but overall I would say, depending on condition, 100, maybe as low as 50, as high as 150. So that's pretty much it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, subscribe, leave a comment. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask, and have a great day.